teachers, nurses, and other middle-class families, as well as some higher-end units. All levels of affordability spectrum have the best access to the best-in-class services, amenities, and recreational venues. I'd even heard that maybe we were going to get some pickleball on this site. Is that right? Now I'm really excited, and my wife, you know, she has a passion for pickleball, so we're looking forward to that. So I'm really excited to be here and really honored to be part of this group, part of this project, and the effort that's going on here. We look forward to doing more, and so grateful for the leadership that we have in the county, in the city, and in the state. And with that, I'd like to introduce our Governor Cox, and I can't tell you really how much I respect him and the deep regard that I have for everything that he stands for and what he's doing in our state.
Thank you, Jim, for that very kind introduction, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to ditch my talking points and be brief, but maybe talk a little higher level for just a second. I want to thank Jim for his leadership in this state and his vision for this area and so much more. It matches so well with what we're trying to accomplish. I want to thank the mayors who are here with us. Mayor Mendenhall, this is our third event together this morning, and I have to tell you, when Mayor Mendenhall and I are together, either really good things are happening or really bad things are happening. And I'm very pleased to note that all three things today were really good things. And that's especially remarkable since the legislature is still in session. And we love the legislature, and we're glad they're there. I want to thank Mayor Wilson as well for her leadership in the county, to the city council members who are here with us, again, for their vision. And Brandon, thank you, not just for the ball jokes, but for what you're for what you're doing and what you said, and that's where I want to start. I want to start with the soul of a project, the soul of a community, the soul of a city, and the soul of a state. I believe as human beings we all have souls, and I believe that the places where we meet and the places where we live also have a soul, and that those souls are worth preserving. Now, words like the granary district and the silos probably mean something different to many of you who have grown up in this area. As a kid who grew up in rural Utah in a small town, they have a very distinct meaning to me. And they hearken to our agriculture background. And these silos meant a life savings, a way of life, a way of living. And being able to preserve these landmarks, these iconic places, is really important. And I'm grateful that we live in a time where we've kind of figured that out. Not everything has to be preserved. There was some really dumb stuff that was done that's worth moving on from. But those pieces are worth preserving. And when I talked to Jim a couple of years ago about what was happening in the Granary District, my one hope was that those would stay. And I'm so grateful you made it work. I know on paper it makes more sense to just tear everything down and start over, but we're more than just paper. We're people and we're human beings, and I'm so grateful for the vision too. That it's not just all about making money. We want you to make money. We hope you're wildly successful beyond your dreams, but that our biggest problems in this state will never be solved by government. They won't. That's not a political statement. I don't mean that at all. I just mean that it's going to take all of us working together. And these public-private partnerships are the very best of Utah, the best of what we can do and what we can be. And as you know, my number one issue, the thing I care most passionately about, one and two, this legislative session, are around housing affordability, housing attainability, and around homelessness. And these things are all related. They're all related. Wayne will tell you, if you look at every state in the nation and you look at the price of housing in that nation, and then you look at the number of people experiencing homelessness in that state, they match up identically. So the more expensive it is for us to live in this state, the more people will have experiencing homelessness. And so we have to work on that affordability piece. I just want to give a shout out to Steve Waldrop, who is here with us, my new position, my senior advisor on housing attainability and affordability, and we are working very closely with the legislature. It's going, I promise you, it doesn't feel like this. I know there have been a lot of articles written, a lot of news stories. Tomorrow night it will be better than we thought it was going to be. We're going to have more money and that applause is for the legislature. We're going to get more money for homelessness and more money for housing affordability and attainability, and we're going to solve these problems, and we're going to do it together because of people like Jim and others who are here today who care about this stuff. And I can't wait to see what the future of this site is. I'm looking forward to it, and we're just proud of the work we're doing. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to now just introduce, for the sake of time, the next three people who will address us. First, are the Honorable Mayor Jenny Wilson, Aaron Mendenhall, the Mayor of Salt Lake City, and then Claudia O'Grady of the Utah Housing Corporation.
Well, I am thrilled to be here, and clearly to build a village, it takes a village. So excellent points made by the previous speakers regarding our collaborative nature here and what it takes to come together. And I'll tell you, a lot of us don't, most of us don't like to think back to the dark days of COVID, and nor do I. But I want to just share that if I had thought forward to today, just those few years ago, of where we could be in this community and how we could recover, I could never imagine that we would be where we are today. The level of collaboration in this community and building and commitment is I believe, unique in this nation. We work together well. We can spar across party lines, but when it is time to get things done, we get things done. And there's nothing more gratifying to me than bringing in our partners in the private community, Jim in this case, the Lowe's, Brandon, this team who understands what it takes to invest and to make it work. And it's not simple. We're pulling in federal grants, and in the case of the county this time, some local support through a county grant. Looking at unique financing models. Sometimes it's tricky to find tax credits. If you don't have persistence and vision, it's not going to happen. And I am so appreciative of Brandon, the partnership, Jim, thank you. What we're doing here matters. Wayne, my partner at the state, our partner, thank you, Governor, our housing coordinator, Wayne Niederhauser, used the figure of 77,000 affordable units needed in this state, and there's 30 some odd of that needed in this community, in this county. And I'll tell you, we're working hard to have it all work out on a spreadsheet, do the planning, break down, speaking of silos within Salt Lake County, to figure out how we can move quicker and how we can find that money. And our mapping tells us we need more of this exact type of partnership to make it work, to be able to count that 77,000 downward, hope it doesn't go up in the meantime. Lobby our federal government, and that's a big piece of this. We need more tax credits, we need reform there. I know the governor is working so hard with our legislature. We saw it this year as he rallied and stood up for people who are in need of housing in this community. We're working hard at Salt Lake County. The partnership with Salt Lake City on these issues is strong, on many issues is strong, couldn't be stronger. So we're on it. We need to convince our partners in the business community who may not see that the goal is attainable, in spite of all the tricky things one needs to do to make it happen. So I am so grateful. I'm grateful to my county council who approved $25 million to put into this housing fund. It was a pass-through from the federal government back to COVID. One of the shining lights in what was a pretty dark storm of COVID was the federal pass-through dollars that allow us to do things for recovery and sustainability in our community. We want to continue to build our housing trust fund so we can do a lot more of these. And again, it is an amazing village in this state and in this county. I'm very grateful to all who are involved. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. A lot of familiar faces here. Governor, I want to tell you what these mills and this granary district means to Salt Lakers. And if any of you have lived in the downtown, or I've lived east of the downtown for many years, it's the smell of waffles. This place not only was a silo and a granary, but there was food manufacturing that happened here. And at different times of the day and night, you could smell waffles being made. I at least imagine they were waffles. Some kind of grain product was being produced here. And this was the heart of the good smells. What's so cool about this project, there's many things, but I'll be brief. We may well smell waffles again. Because with 1,000 units of housing, families being able to come here to come home, there are definitely going to be waffles being made here. We've been coming to openings, groundbreakings of affordable housing projects for about a decade together. What is unique about this one, I hope you will remember when you leave, this isn't just a building. We're not just breaking ground so that units can happen. This is a neighborhood that's being built. This is a thoughtful community. As Jim said, with the services, the resources, the pickleball, open spaces, places for kids to thrive, for families to wind down and to grow together. This is also on the path of the Green Loop, and Brandon's vision for embracing the Green Loop along 500 West through the Granary District is totally in line with the city's. We want to make this not only a thriving neighborhood, but the one that's connected. It will be connected to transit through the TechLink study that is a partnership between UTA, Salt Lake City, and others. This is an amazing project. It's so much more, but it's absolutely 180 units of 60% AMI housing. Let's keep going, because as Mayor Wilson said, it takes a village to build these kind of projects and the community that's going to be built. So Brandon, even with your bald head, you are a model. This place is a model. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. I feel a little bit like a poser after the crowd that I have to follow here. For those of you who don't know, Utah Housing Corporation allocates the low-income housing tax credits. We issue the tax-exempt bonds. Really what we do is kind of let loose the tools that make these things happen. And I will be very brief here. Mostly I just want to say congratulations to the development team. We're so pleased to be able to help you through this process. And I want to thank the low-income housing tax credit program. I do want to say just a quick word about that. It is a federal tool, and we need more of it, as everybody has alluded to. But I want to point out that we also have a state housing tax credit that has become maybe the most important piece of these projects, because it is the piece of the financing, the capital stack, that gets these projects over the hurdle. We have multiplied our ability to produce affordable units because of that piece of state tax credit. So I want to thank the governor, the legislature for those efforts. And we look forward to being here at the ribbon cutting. I always say I have one of the best jobs ever, because I get to come to these events all the time, and every time it is impactful and meaningful and catalytic, transformative, and I know that this project is going to be just that. So thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the speakers, and thank you for everyone joining us. I know busy time, busy schedule, and taking your time out to help celebrate this is fantastic. Lastly, I want to say, as all the dignitaries spoke, the fact that this now sits at the entrance to our city, anyone visiting Salt Lake City, anyone leaving Salt Lake City, the first and last impression they have is something that collectively we as a state, as a city, as a county are producing that's going to benefit the broadest range of our neighbors and our neighborhood. And this will be a stalwart as we welcome in 2034 the world. We get to showcase what happens when we collectively come together as a community. And I could not be more happy or proud of that. Thank you. I want to thank my team who tirelessly created this effort. Yes, there's waffles. They were producing cereal here, so please partake of the cereal-themed decorations and donuts. We were on brand on that. Thank you to my team, but particularly, I know he's hiding somewhere in the background. Thank you to John Hardy. I don't know if you don't know John Hardy. There he is. He should really be the one standing up here and holding the mic. John worked for 18 years with State Housing Neighborhood Development, and he joined me a few years ago. And really, without the tools, connections, and relationships that he brings to bear, this would not be happening. So thank you, John. With that, let's actually break some ground. I'd like to take we're going to take several group photos, so please stick around if you have time. We'll start off first with the dignitaries. John, Jim, Governor, mayors, please join us. Claudia as well. Jeremiah Drake from KeyBank, and Alex, of course. Please join us. Thank you.